Заводить нет.
Нет.
Батарею посадим.
Огонь.
Welcome back to Lessons from the Front. And this evening, Alfred, who's probably wandering gently on his way to the game, has challenged me with his Soviets to take on my Germans.
Right, before we get into the battle, let's take a quick look at the armies. As you can see in this photo, my 1,250 points of Germans consisted of 2 platoons and a total of 13 order dice. At the heart of my rifle platoon were 2 veteran 5-man squads, both armed with SMGs and mounted in SD KFZ 250 half-tracks. One of these squads was my commander, while the other carried a single Panzerfaust, giving them the ability to threaten armor if the opportunity presented itself. Supporting them were 2 regular rifle squads, one 10-man squad equipped with a Panzerfaust, and another 7-man rifle squad. I also brought a 5-man veteran assault rifle squad, a veteran sniper team, and an inexperienced chaplain to keep the men fighting. My armored platoon consisted of 4 vehicles, 2 regular Marder 3 tank destroyers, and a regular Stuh, that's STUH assault gun, and a veteran SD KFZ 10/4 flak half-track. When Alfred unpacked his force, I knew I was facing a serious challenge. The Soviets arrived with 3 platoons and 15 order dice. His rifle platoon contained 9 units, including his company commander, scouts, tank riders, and an anti-tank rifle team, and a sniper. His armored platoon brought a BA-6 armored car with a closed top and heavy machine gun, a T-60 light tank, and the monster waiting in reserve, the IS-2 heavy tank. And if that wasn't enough, Alfred also brought a Super Heavy Mortar in his 3rd platoon. The combination of the IS-2 and that massive mortar was the kind of firepower that definitely gets your attention when it appears across a tabletop. The wonderful staff at Expedimix prepared this incredible 6x4-foot battlefield for us. The game would take place amongst the ruins of Königsberg. Only 3 buildings remained intact. The rest of the battlefield was made up of shattered ruins, rocky outcrops, and barricades. All of these offered hard cover. The 2 wooded areas provided soft cover, while the road obstacles prevented vehicles from making double moves through those areas. After rolling for the mission, we would be playing Seek and Destroy, deployed from long table edges, and with both armies beginning in prepared positions. Right, so my overall plan was to slow Alfred's advance on my right flank, holding him back there a bit, and then attempting to dominate on my left. However, I did keep my infantry mobile force, those 2 SMG veteran squads in their half-tracks, in the center so they could go either way. I actually made a video previously explaining why I chose to build more SMG units for this army, because their mobility and close-range firepower was exactly what I wanted to achieve in this force. With Alfred having more order dice than me, I could see he was holding that IS-2 back to be deployed last, so I decided to keep my armor together. If the IS-2 came down towards my left, I hoped that my Marders would combine and their power would challenge it, but if it came towards my right, I planned to avoid fighting it directly and instead use my armor to dominate on the left side of the battlefield, according to my plan. And when Alfred's IS-2 eventually came down, and as you can see, it was quite apparent that Alfred's plan of attack was very similar to mine, except that we'd be hitting hard on opposite sides of the table. The battle commenced with Alfred immediately applying pressure against my right. The Soviet forces had won the early order dices in the first 2 turns, and Alfred aggressively used his company commander to snap 4 units forward each time. His forces were coming. I felt I had 2 priorities. Firstly was to survive and slow him down on the right-hand side. And the second was to deal with his Super Heavy Mortar, which was positioned where my armored platoon could see it. Although that mortar was protected by hard cover, I knew I could not allow that weapon to range in. The Stuh and one of my Marders focused their fire, and thankfully, after 2 rounds of firing, they were able to destroy that mortar. A serious threat. One major danger had been removed, but that IS-2 was still rolling forward. As that Soviet heavy tank pushed forward, supported by infantry through the ruins, and that BA-6 and T-60, I felt my job was not to destroy, but to delay. I mean, I couldn't. Those units were just too powerful for me, unless I brought reinforcements across from my left to the right. So I decided to make a stand with infantry only. I had those 2 regular units, and then that veteran squad of assault rifles. And it was with this expensive veteran assault rifle squad that I felt I made a really poor decision. I pushed them forward into the ruins, hoping that they would bog down Alfred's veteran scouts and force them to spend time fighting through the rubble. The idea was sound, but the execution was not. I expected the scouts to be difficult to remove in the ruins, but instead I was unable to cause any damage. Alfred responded brutally, eliminating 4 of my 5 veterans. I eventually withdrew that lone survivor to try and preserve his order dice. However, another unit performed exactly the role that I wanted on my right. That 10-man regular rifle squad became a wall. They absorbed punishment from the T-60. Constant pins meant that I could never use my Panzerfaust. Geez, I got a lot of pins on that side of the table.
The motivation to see that squad stays.
+5.
So +5. I am
9.
regular. I'm 9 down to. So it's 4 up, 4 down.
4 on
4 fours. Okay, we can do this. Yes! 4.
I have to admit, I really did celebrate. They eventually disappeared with the firepower of IS-2, but their sacrifice slowed Alfred's advance and bought me precious time. My 7-man rifle squad was also used to slow Alfred's advance, initially advancing forward and then withdrawing to the rocks, where, although they eventually were knocked out, they did slow Alfred's encirclement. While Alfred was pushing hard on my right, the battle was changing on the opposite side. With the Soviet Super Heavy Mortar destroyed, my opportunity had arrived. Once Alfred's IS-2 had committed against my right, I moved my 2 veteran SMG squads mounted in their 250 half-tracks around to the left-hand side of the battlefield and began my counterattack. The axis of the battle had shifted. The entire engagement had now begun to rotate. In many ways, it reminded me of the ancient battlefield tactic known as the oblique order, famously used by Epaminondas at the Battle of Leuctra, concentrating strength on one side while absorbing pressure elsewhere. The idea was simple: hold where you're weak and strike where you're strong. And now it was my turn to strike. 10 SMGs firing at point-blank range created exactly the kind of pressure I had built this army for. My commander's squad eliminated Alfred's commander, while the other veteran squads tore into his scouts behind the central ruins. The half-track supported the attack, and suddenly Alfred's right side began to collapse. His sniper was destroyed, his anti-tank rifle team was eliminated, and his scouts were pushed back. The attack was rolling forward towards the center. My Stu then rolled across the road and into the ruins, where it supported the success of the veteran squads. The veteran squads then turned their attention against the Soviet command, the 250 opening fire, first destroying the bannerman, and then destroying Alfred's company commander. The Marders, in the meantime, turned their guns towards Alfred's armor. The T-60 and IS-2 answered, and a tank duel commenced. Both Marders hit the IS-2. This could have been a cinematic moment of the battle. Both my penetration rolls failed. The IS-2 survived, and instead, that monster turned its guns back on my stubborn rifle squad. That same squad that had passed its morale test earlier, that same squad that had refused to leave the battlefield, the IS-2 finally destroying them. Then, in that final turn, that IS-2 knocked out one of my Marders. A fitting reminder of just how dangerous that tank can be. And so, after 6 turns and 3 hours of fighting, the battle had come to an end.
Cool. Nice game.
Yeah.
The result, a narrow German victory. My Germans edged out Alfred's Soviets by a 7-4 order dice win. Alfred and I would once again like to thank Expedimex for giving us the opportunity to play on this fantastic battlefield. And we'd like to thank you guys for watching this video. So guys, until next time then, happy gaming!
4!